When I think about like clients going and looking for an advisor, like overgeneralizing a little, I kind of put it into two camps. The first are local stakes problems. Things I've just got to deal with that are fairly straightforward and proximal, where I just want someone in the area that can solve this problem for me. So, when I bought a house 10 years ago, I bought a house about a mile and a half up the street from my folks. They still live in the house that I grew up in. They've been in the neighborhood here for 45 years now. So, you want to ask me about tax law, like I'll do Internal Revenue Code sections off the top of my head. You want to ask me about plumbing, I'm hopeless. I don't know anything about anything in my house and how it works. So the first time my toilet breaks, I call my father. I say, what do I do? And he says, like, I call this plumber. We've had them out to the house many times. They do good work. They'll even come out on Sunday, and their rates are reasonable. It's like, thank you, Dad. Right? Just there's like a certain level of local stakes. I just need something done in a reasonably timely manner. It's just easy to go local. Ask my friends and family for a referral, and off I go. And that works it works well in the plumbing realm. It works well in the financial advisor. I'm like, I've had this 401k I've been meaning to roll over for a long time, or like my business needs to get a profit sharing plan set up. Like, who set up your plan? Like, can he or she come out to my office and set this up for our firm? The interesting shift that's happening, though, so it's one thing when you're dealing with local stakes problems. It's another thing when you're dealing with high stakes problems. So if you imagine for a moment, like you're coming back from the doctor and the news is not good. You have a very rare, potentially fatal disease. There may only be like a half a dozen doctors anywhere in the world who even know how to treat this because it's so rare. Not aren't many people around. Your doctor has no idea where to send you because she's never seen this before. And so you have to now figure out in a very high stakes situation, how are you going to find the doctor who will save your life? And the answer for basically everyone immediately is like, I'm just sitting there on my smartphone on Google, like I'm searching around for medical research and who's published and looking up reviews of the doctors. And like, if my life is on the line, I'm not asking friends and family for a referral because they don't even, like, the odds that the expert I need is even local is like negligible. There would be no reason why I would be in my friends and family network in the first place. And frankly, if the stakes are high enough, like, yeah, I'll get on a plane and go pretty much anywhere in the world if it's going to save my life. Yep. Like, geography doesn't matter anymore. And the higher the stakes the problem, the less the geography matters. And so when you now bring that into the financial advisor realm, where maybe it's not my life is on the line for a big disease, it's my business is on the line because I'm getting ready to sell it in a liquidity event, the one biggest financial event of my entire lifetime, to sell a medical practice that I've spent 27 years building as the lead doctor. And I'm trying to figure out how to maximize the value of my medical practice. And if there's some advisor that's halfway across the country that can show me how to turn my $3 million medical practice sale into a $3.3 million medical practice sale by getting another 10% on the valuation of the business, I don't have any problem getting on a plane and going 1,000 miles to see that advisor because I'm going to net another $300,000 out of the sale price of my practice. And of course, when I now sell my practice for $3.3 million, guess who gets the money? Mm-hmm. And so the fundamental phenomenon to me that's changing is people with high stakes problems are less and less going to their friends and family networks for referrals and more going online because they can, because the internet is this amazing finding machine to find like the 6 people in the world who are an expert in your particular problem. If the stakes are high enough, you're certainly willing to travel to go see them. And the irony now is with the rise of Zoom video and the rest of the pandemic, we've never been more comfortable at any point working with someone who's not local, which just means like the threshold of what's a high enough stakes problem that we move away from local stakes friends and family referrals and we go online for virtual solutions. Like that threshold's getting lower. But when you think about it from the client perspective, like, look, if I just want a generic advisor that can do anything and everything for everyone, I can find that person up the street from a friends and family referral. If I'm looking for someone online, I don't look online for a financial advisor. I look online for a solution to my high stakes problem. And that shift to me is kind of the digital marketing shift that most advisors are not capitalizing on yet, because we're thinking about it from our end. Hey, I'm going to go join social media platforms, and not from the client's end. They're not just following random people on Twitter for witty sayings to figure out who to give their life savings to, but they might be looking for who is an expert on the particular high stakes problem that they've got. And we're going to work with you if you bring the answers to that, but only if you bring the answers to that. And it's a very different way of showing up in the digital realm.
Yeah, and this is not a new concept in finance that, the riches are in the niches, or however a different way you've heard that said. But I can think of 2 real life examples. There's an advisor that just specializes in McDonald's franchise owners. There's another one I can think of with interest rates spiking. His group just focuses on pensions, and those have been very negatively impacted with rising interest rates.
Right.
And so they've got this, what I would call, very niche problem that people all across America need help with. And on the flip side of that, prior to COVID, I can speak to both of my parents. Maybe they had just kind of figured out how to use FaceTime on their iPhone, but they sure didn't know anything about Zoom. And now it's the technology adoption on that retirement aged, not as tech savvy individual that now everybody has Zoom on their phone, right? And so it's also the network effect that's happening where, okay, they maybe had a problem that they were niche that they could solve nationwide, but their consumer base or prospect base was not really armed to be able to have that conversation virtually. Now they are.